Hey guys, so this is actually the second part of this sample phlebotomy interview questions. So if you guys were watching yesterday's video and wanted to see the continuation, here you go. So the next question would be, what do you think characterizes a good phlebotomist? In my opinion, a good phlebotomist is somebody who is understanding of the fact that the patient may be scared. They should be patient because a lot of people are scared of needles, especially children. I mean, I've even known adults who are like deathly afraid of needles and they have no desire to be there getting blood work taken. So the fact that you're able to be patient, organized, that you have good blood draw skills as far as like your accuracy is fairly good, um, having empathy, um, somebody who is able to be flexible and manage handling potentially upset or angry patients because I mean in healthcare that's just part of daily life of a healthcare worker. Sometimes you get people who are just irate and it may be because they don't feel well. It may be because they don't want you to stick a needle in their arm or they've had a bad experience with a phlebotomist in the past. So, I mean, you just have to learn how to deal with angry patients. So that brings me to the next question, which is how would you deal with an angry patient? So, my answer when I get asked this in an interview is that I would do my best to listen to the reason that they're angry and try to understand where they're coming from. I would always try to do whatever I could to de escalate the situation so that they're not like super irate and angry anymore. And, you know, at that point, I would notify my supervisor. This is what I say. After I have spent time trying to understand why they're angry, trying to calm them down, I would notify my supervisor so that they could, work with the patient and try to fix the situation. After that, um, I would make sure that the interviewer knows, that I would not try to argue with the patient. I would not try to force them to do something they didn't want to do. And that, comes into patients' rights. And if you guys would like, another video talking more about like handling situations where, the doctor orders something the patient doesn't want it to happen, I can talk more about that in another video. But, it doesn't make any sense to try to fight or argue with a patient, especially in the doctor's office, because you have no idea who is listening. It makes you look stupid. It doesn't represent your office well, and you're making your doctor or your provider, whoever you're working with, look not good. It could also put the safety of other patients and other coworkers at risk because, especially now, you are always hearing about like different um, coworkers or like angry patients coming back and shooting up a clinic. Like, that's one of my biggest fears. So I always worry about stuff like that, even though, the risks or chances of it are fairly low. I just always I worry about things like that. So another question is, why would you choose our laboratory or medical practice and not another one? So, um, this is kind of, you can tweak this how you want to. So there's a few options for what you can say. I would definitely say this is why it helps to do your research before you go into an interview, like research the company, um, research potential interview questions like on Glassdoor and Indeed. Some people can leave reviews and they can actually list like interview questions that they have been asked by this company. That's what I do before I go to job interviews. I look on Indeed, I look on Glassdoor, I Google the company, like I see different things about them so then I can kind of pull up that knowledge during an interview if I need to. So you could praise their laboratory or medical practice for their work, their positive reputation, like what they offer as far as employees, like benefits and stuff like that. Although I don't really bring up benefits or pay in an interview because I just don't find that very professional. Um, if you find something like in a review or on their website that really like pulls you in and makes you want to work for them more, I would definitely mention that, because it looks good, because they can tell that you did your research. You can point out that it's a good location for where you live, or that it has working hours that suit your lifestyle, like taking care of your family, and that you would be able to get there easily. I definitely would not bring up, that you just wanted to apply just because. I mean, you could, but it doesn't really look like you thought out your answer very well, or thought out the fact that you applied to them. But, it is what it is. So, another question would be, why should we hire you? And sometimes this question can throw me off in an interview. Like, sometimes I freeze up a little bit, but I would summarize like the good qualities about you as far as professional. I would, talk about the fact that you're able to easily connect with other people, and you like making sure that your patients are comfortable, the fact that you are empathetic to your patient's feelings, your attention to detail, um, the fact that you're a positive person and you want to bring positive energy to the practice, that you're dependable, reliable, that you're motivated to learn. A lot of healthcare jobs that I have found at interviews I've gone to, they love when they hear that you want to further yourself in the medical world. They love that you're willing to learn, that you're a quick learner. Um, it's very helpful, I think, because people see that you actually care about not just being a phlebotomist or a CNA, but that you have the motivation to do more, and that you have a drive to succeed. Um, those are basically all of the questions that I had, but a couple of things that I wanted to mention before I end this video is, when you're answering interview questions, make sure that you focus on like the fact that you're motivated to do your job and do it well. Talk about the importance, or how you understand how important phlebotomists are, and how important that, you know, how important it is that the test results are accurate, and, talk about the fact that you are aware of how meaningful your job role actually is in patient diagnostics. I would say, em- make sure that you put an emphasis on the fact that there is no room for error when it comes to phlebotomy, because there really isn't. You have somebody's life in your hands, basically, because, you know, if a lab result is wrong, you could screw up so many things. Make sure that you mention that you would maintain the highest level of concentration in your job, regardless of any problems that are existing in your personal life. And last but not least, the biggest tip that I can say is, try to make sure that the atmosphere in your interview is good, positive. Um, especially when you know that it's a job where it's a lot of people who are vying for that one position. Try to create a connection with your interviewer. I find this so helpful. Try to be nice to them, show respect and recognition for the laboratory, and it it just helps when you make that personal connection, because they are so much more able to remember you when they're looking through all the applicants, especially now because there's so many people who are applying for the same positions, especially in my area. I don't know. But anyways, I hope that these sample phlebotomy interview questions helped you guys. If there are any medical field related topics that you would like me to address in a future video, I would love to do so. So please leave them in the comments, and I will put it on my list of things to film in the future. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again in tomorrow's video.